Hi, everyone. I want to do a nutrition overview with you today. So we're going to start by clearing a few things up. Good nutrition is not about boring, bland, and expensive food that we have to punish ourselves with because it's what we should be eating. It's not about having guilt or shame or having self-loathing about what we shouldn't be eating and feeling bad about ourselves. So we want to toss all that aside. We want to come in with a place of love and acceptance and understanding of that we're trying to improve our health. So this can only be effective if we look at it in a positive light. So let's come into it with happiness and love and an open mind. So why do we care about nutrition? What makes it so important that it's the base of our wellness pyramid? So our nutrition, which includes not only the food that we eat, but also the food that we don't eat. It's our water intake. It's our supplements. It's the biggest part of our healthy lifestyle. We eat multiple times a day, every day. Talk about consistency. So when you're doing something so much, it's very important that what you're putting into your body is good. It's good fuel for your body because we can improve single behaviors, but it's going to take changes and consistency to make those improvements. So the food that we eat can either be the safest form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. So we want to ensure that we are healing our bodies, not hurting them. Food is fuel. It's that simple. In our society, we're led to believe very differently. We use food to celebrate, to connect, to make us feel better after a stressful day, to be our companion when we're feeling lonely. But the reality is, at the core of it all, food is fuel, nothing more. Our body needs proteins, carbohydrates, and fats to function and thrive. The kind of fuel we give our body is completely within our control. We are the only ones that are in charge of what we put in our bodies. So let's do something totally crazy and let's put nutritious, wholesome foods in our bodies and give ourselves the very best and see how it changes our health. So here's the thing. There are hundreds of different ways to eat well. There's going to be a plan or an ideology that fits you and your body. Everybody on this planet is biochemically unique. That means that their body reacts differently to different foods. So my philosophy and many others is that all whole, real foods are nutritious, but they may not be nutritious for every body because everybody's body is biochemically unique, meaning that, while someone can eat whole grains and wheat and gluten, somebody else's body does not react well. So you're not going to find a one-size-fits-all meal plan or diet that is going to work for every person because every person's body reacts differently. That's what makes everything that we do when it comes to our bodies different. One person can take a medication, another person can't. It's because our bodies react differently to different things because we're all different. So don't feel that because something didn't work for you, that it's a horrible plan because maybe this wasn't right for your body. You have to find what works for your body and what you need to heal. So we can agree on the basics though. We know that we need proteins, we need complex carbohydrates, we need healthy fats, lots of produce in our diets. And we can also agree that what we need less of. So we need lots of less processed foods, prepackaged foods, simple carbohydrates, and most of all, sugar. So let's focus on moving out the bad and replacing it with the good, eating less of the fast, cheap, and fake, and more of the wholesome, real food options. There's the saying that you are what you eat, and it is so true because our body is constantly renewing cells. So cells die and are created every day. Our bodies constantly renew, and the fuel to do that, to make those cells, is the food that we eat. So if you're eating fast and cheap fake options, then you're not creating new healthy cells. You're creating cheap broken cells, basically, right? You are what you eat. So you want to fuel your body with good foods. I want to invite you to take an inventory with me. So this is a training tool that we've learned from Tiffany Peterson. So I want you to follow along with me. I want you to go to post 4 and download the Oil Camp 2 workbook. So in there, you're going to find a couple of different pages with some tools, and we're going to focus on nutrition today. So we're going to do a concept of self-inventory throughout the camp. So you're going to want to use this workbook more often. So today, I want you to ask yourself a few questions and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So this is not to be a negative experience. You're not to be beating yourself up over this. This is simply asking you to observe how you're feeling right now about things. So I want you to look at the last 30 days and use that as your time frame for this exercise of how you're feeling. So question 1 is, how are you feeling about your overall nutrition? Are you eating well the majority of the time, or are you making unhealthy options a majority of the time? What makes up the bulk of your diet? So over the last 30 days, how has that been? How do you feel about that? And what number do you give that on your scale of 1 to 10? Question 2, how has your overall water intake and hydration level been? Are you getting at least 64 ounces a day? So are you mostly drinking water throughout the day, or are you drinking coffee and soda and tea and energy drinks and juice, all of those things which have impacts on your health? There's a common misconception that if you're drinking tea and coffee because they are made with water, that's okay, it's still water, and it's not. Those things have different effects on our health because of the other ingredients in them. And you actually, for every caffeinated beverage that you have, you should be drinking 2 glasses of water just to counteract the caffeine and the other additives in that drink. So that even shows even more that your water intake needs to rise. So, take an honest evaluation of your water intake and write it down. So question 3 is, do you find that you want to eat healthy food, or how do you feel about making healthy options? Are you drawn to them? Are you turned off by them? Do you have a lot of cravings for food that you maybe shouldn't be eating? Those are all signs of what's going on in your body, but it also is a sign of how we feel about ourselves. Do you feel that you're worth eating healthy? Do you feel that you're worth feeling good? Because when you eat well, you feel better. And sometimes we have emotional connections to feeling a certain way, and the foods that we eat change that or encourage that feeling. So do you feel that you're worth making healthy options, and how do you feel when you do make them? Question 4, how do you feel about your fresh produce consumption? Are vegetables a one-hit wonder? Are you eating maybe 1 a day if you're lucky? Are you eating a variety of fresh vegetables every day, or are you eating the same one every day? Are you having a Caesar salad every day and that's counting as your vegetable intake? Are you eating canned vegetables versus fresh vegetables? Things like that. French fries do not count as vegetables. So, make an honest self-inventory of your fresh produce consumption and where that sits. So don't feel overwhelmed and start thinking that you automatically have to change all of these things and make them all 10s tomorrow, because that's impossible. We want progress, not perfection. So you want to make efforts to make improvements. So what's it going to take to move from a 5 to a 6 or a 7? If you've rated something a 2, what's it going to take to get from up to a 3 or a 4? I don't expect you to go from 2 to 10. Nobody can. So that's setting up yourself for, unrealistic expectations. So just make those small improvements. Consistency is key. So what's it going to take for you to go from a 2 to a 3 or a 4? What consistent measures can you take? And you can totally do that. That's totally doable. So let's focus on making progress and moving the needle just a little bit more. So remember that love and understanding are your friends. You need to love yourself and understand that you're making changes to feel better in your body so that you are healthy, so that you can be the person that you're meant to be. You're going to notice that the workbook has given lots of space in each quadrant for you to write down your thoughts, choose a number to express where you're at right now, and then use some space to write the ideas of how you're going to move that number up, even if it's just by 1 or 2. I'm not asking you to commit to doing everything right away. We are all doing our own inventories and using these pages to make notes that come to mind. So, do what's right for you. You can decide later on what you want to focus on. It's just evaluating where you are right now in those areas. So you'll also notice in the workbook that we have several blank pages that you can use throughout camp to make notes. And I hope you find that useful because you're going to be learning a lot. So for today, I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and that is eat like you love yourself, move like you love yourself, speak like you love yourself, and act like you love yourself. Act like you love yourself. This is all about gaining new perspective and making changes to be the best you that you're meant to be. Remember that we are here and to support you and love you through this journey, and that a little bit of self-love and encouragement is all you need to make the changes to become healthier and to be vibrant and feel amazing every day. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.